So, Professor Cooley, I just wanted to ask you about how you think bringing literature and people in to speak, poets and writers, has changed from before the Creative Writing Fund was implemented and to now where we have plenty of money to bring people in.
Right.
Just wanted to ask you.
Well, I've been here since 1975, so this gives me a chance to say hello to all those students of mine for 34 years out there who might be watching this. Hello. For many, many years, we had no regular funding, and so I had to scrabble things together as best I could from a number of different sources to bring people in, and this has just facilitated everything and made it far easier, frankly, for the English department and for me and for those of us who teach creative writing. It's been wonderful. But as evidenced by the attendance, there's a huge audience out there interested in good literature who will come to things and will come over here. And this is post-Katrina, too. We think that everybody's home rebuilding his or her house or has left New Orleans, but they're here and they're anxious to come to events.
Yeah. If you could speak just a little bit more about how the city and the students have become a little bit more integrated with the different functions and the writers and poets who have come in.
I think that we have built a creative writing in the English department much more into the general university through these readings. I think, again, to use that word of integration, we have combined the two interests and made them a part of the general university. But even more than that, I think we've got a lot of students interested in literature just as spectators, as an audience through the Creative Writing Fund.
Yeah.
And we have many students who will take one course in creative writing and never take another. That's fine. They have to take 4 for the concentration in creative writing, but many students just want to take one class, just like when I took a course in economics, right? You don't see me being an economist.
Right. So what sort of impact have you noticed on students, so that you find them a little bit more interested or engaged in contemporary literature?
I think that since Katrina, the students have been much more engaged with public service and with the university. I think we're attracting students who are more civic-minded today and more enthusiastic. It's been a very interesting kind of metamorphosis.
Right. I'm talking about public service. So, and I know you've done quite a few things with that. Just wondering if you could mention one of them, or one or two of your current projects, or what you hope to bring to the table next semester.
Well, tonight there's a program at the zoo, which the Latter Library is involved in. I've got some students involved in this project, and they're having school kids write poems about animals over at the zoo. And this is sponsored by Poets House in New York, which I want to have a kind of affiliation with through the Latter Library. Also, then next fall, I'm not speaking strictly of public service now, I'm speaking of really of the world beyond New Orleans and in New Orleans. Next fall, to commemorate the 5th anniversary of Katrina, we're going to have a Katrina reading here. And that is in cooperation with the Poetry Society of America, New York. Some of their officers are coming down here. We're going to have people reading poems about the disaster. But on a more local level, I have students working at Lusher School, serving as teaching assistants in creative writing, since Lusher now has a creative writing program like NOCA. I've had students in the past working with a Hispanic apostolate, teaching English through creative writing. And I've had students, too, who have worked at Lambeth House, which is the retirement center here, teaching creative writing to senior citizens.
Right. One last question would be, we talked a little bit earlier about the creative spirit of New Orleans, and you had mentioned a few things about that, which were pretty interesting, but just kind of...
I have no idea what I said.
No idea what you said.
No, I have no idea what did I say?
Oh, you were talking about the creative spirit of New Orleans being somewhat regenerated after Katrina came through.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
I think that's true. I think it's the creative spirit of endurance and survival, though, don't you? I mean, people talk about the creative spirit of New Orleans and I'm thinking of Bourbon Street or something like that, but that's not what I'm talking about. That doesn't produce anything. I'm talking about the energy that people have on a local level to make something out of their own lives. And I think the city is regenerated as a result.
Okay. Thanks a lot for your.
Thank you.